My topic is large scale Ruby projects and challenges and pitfalls. So myself is Karunakar Revuri and I work for a Castle Rock Research. So I'm a Rails contributor, have done some pull requests to the Rails. So I'm pretty much available in GitHub. So this is a first slide. I'm going to mostly I'm going to talk about my code and my test and how I need to improve my performance. So most of the topics was covered in the previous session. So bear for me for another 30 minutes. So I write the code in a TDD means I follow TDD. So I write the test first and then code and then I'll run the test. So after that I'll clean up my code. This is because of that means my code quality will be more and means I'll think more about my code and I'll find the bugs in the initial stage itself. So I write the test first and then code. Because of that, I cannot leave any scenario for my miss. I will write everything in a first miss. I'll write the test first. So I won't leave anything in my code. So because of that, I have many units and functionals. My code has many units and functionals. So I use start but shoulda. So this is a good part. So I have many unit tests. The bad part is that my test suite, because I write the many tests, because of that my test suite is taking more than 45 minutes for only units and functional. So I am going to show the solution how I resolve this problem after a couple of slides. So the thing is that my test suite is slow. These are the reasons why my test suite is slow. Means there are many tests and there are many bad tests. Bad test means there are some tests with only assert true or something. They are in the setup. They are creating means those test is creating lot of objects, but it's not checking anything. Only assert true is there. So that is a bad test. And in some of the tests, unnecessarily objects is there. Some tests are unnecessary test is there. So some of the test is just only they are expecting assert true. So it won't fail anyhow if we make that assert true only. These are the reasons why my test suite is taking time. So there is another test with an assert failures. So this always pass. So there some of the test is big test means long test. Long test means I am creating lot of objects in the setup blocks. I am just doing only assert true for this thing. So that test is always pass and it takes time to run the test. So some of the tests are random failure test. I'm not sure when this will be fail and when this will be fast. It's some of the tests are there. These are the reasons why it is taking time. So main solution for this thing, first I need to clean up my code and I need to clean up my test. So that is one solution, and use the marks and stubs when it is needed. The marks and stubs are not needed in always, but sometimes we need a marks and stubs. So another solution has still means I have cleaned up my code, I have done mocks and stubs, but still my test suite is slow. So I am going to show a one parallel library. Means we can run the test in a parallel manner. I am going to show that thing in after couple of slides. So I am going to show one small demo. I use Shuda for my test. Yeah. Can you guys this see a sample snippet? Just it's nothing is there, only one setup block with should blocks. So how many times this setup will means when if I run this test, how many times the setup block will run? Can anybody know? But in Shuda, it is running twice. Means if you use a context in RSpec or in normal in RSpec, it runs twice. But this is a Shuda thing. If you use a two should blocks, the setup block will run twice. If you use a three should blocks, the setup will run thrice. So I have done a small means I am going to run this thing. How? I'm running again. This. Can you see the sample twice? It ran twice. So this is a problem. Because of this, my test suite is slow. Because if my test having a more than one should block, it's for one should blocks the setup will run once. So we have written a one small patch to resolve this issue. I am going to see it runs. I have added my core my context to the fast context. Shit. This is just I have added a one fast context. This we have done a small fix to run it once. So this is actually what it is doing. It's inheriting from the same context class, and but it's not running the setup more than once. If we add the should blocks also, this is actually this solution was reduced my test suite to the somewhat, but it's not reduced totally. So I am going to show one more solution for this thing. So I write the means after a couple of slides, I am going to show the how I run the parallel test. So I write the Cucumber test also. My code has lot of Cucumber scenarios, and my code has means I use a Capybara and Cucumber to write my Cucumber scenarios. But Cucumber is very slow because of Selenium test. So this is also a problem. And after writing my Cucumber scenarios, my test suite is taking more than 3 hours. So this is a bad thing. So developers will always wait for the build. So this is decreasing the productivity. So this is because of Selenium. Selenium is taking lot of time to run this thing. Uh, because of that, my build time is reached more than 3 hours. So the solutions here is that we can specify the tag rack underscore test to run the Cucumber scenarios. Instead of opening in the browser, we can run in a memory. It will run. So this will improve the cucumber scenarios. And the other solution, till now I was about to show the demo about the library. So this is a library, distributed test suite runner for Rails. This is written by Hemant and myself. I have been contributing, I have been contributing to this library, and this is an event mission. It uses event mission, and it uses a Redis. So I am going to show the demo, not demo. I am going to show the how this is working. This is the architecture of this Borg. I know many other libraries which is supporting to the to make your test parallelly, but this is I have tried most of them, but those could not resolve my problem. So that's why we have concentrated to write this library. So basically we use a cruise to maintain our build. So we have done a small change in a cruise. What it will do is, if someone pushes to the code, so the cruise mission will check that in that mission is the Borg server is running or not. If the Borg server is running, so pass that request to the Borg server. If it is not running, so just as usual run normal cruise, how it is working, it will run. So if the cruise Borg server is running in that mission, so cruise responsibility is to send that build request to the Borg server. So the Borg server response Borg will take care of all how we need to distribute our test to the different missions. So here the Borg server responsibility is that who all are the Borg here is a server and client is the developer's mission are clients. I may use the word that client or worker or developer missions. So the Borg server will check that after getting a request to the Borg server, who all are connected to me. So if any worker is connected to the Borg server, it will continue the process. Otherwise, if no worker is connected to the Borg server, it will throw an error that no worker is there. So the Borg, if it is the worker is connected to Borg, so it will also check that we are using a Redis to distribute our test. So the Borg will check that the Redis server is running or not, and so the Borg will collect the URL connected to me, means how many clients is connected to the Borg server. It will collect that information, and based on that, it will split the, if we have the 25 files, if the 4 workers is connected to me, it will divide the 25 tests to the 5 tests, and it will push those 5 as a list to the Redis, and based on the IP. So it will say it will it's a list with an IP of the worker mission and the list of the files. So after that, it will send a request to the worker that just run this test. So the worker will take those list. The server also sends the commit ID. We won't sync the data between these two missions. This developer mission is different and Borg server mission is different. We won't sync the data. It will send the commit ID to all the workers. So all the workers will take the commit ID and it will fetch the code and then run the test independently. It won't dependent on anything. So it runs the only 5 files for every developer mission. After that developer mission, what it will the worker, what it will do is it will send the report whether all the tests are passed or not. So also it will send the report, whatever the in test log file, it will send the report to the Borg server, and the Borg server will take that response and it will wait for all the workers response till all the workers should complete, and it will wait, Borg server always wait for all the workers. So after that, after getting the response, after getting the response, it will send the total output to the cruise mission. The normal, we can see the cruise in the browser, we can see the output. This is how the Borg is working. So it supports Shuda framework on MRI with Rails, and it supports Cucumber on MRI with Rails, and it supports Rake test on MRI with Rails, and it supports RSpec also. It's working with 187 and 191 and 192 with Rails 2 and 3. So this library is at my Git repo. So this library is made me my build. It made me the fast build. So it is means now after using my library, the build is taking only 10 minutes because I am using a developer's missions. So it won't miss. We can use how many developers means we can use as many as developers mission. So it is taking means now the only 10 minutes my build is taking. So this advantage is that developers no need to wait for the build. So if it is a 10 minutes, so I was it was taking 3 hours previously, and after using this mission, after using this library, it was reduced to the 10 minutes. So that is a good point. But the bad points here is that developer's mission. If someone shut down the developer mission, this is a problem. So we are still working to resolve this issue. And test splitting. Presently we are this library presently it's supporting, it's based on the how many tests are there. So if one test is too many one file is having a too many tests, the other file is having a less test, so it still takes the time. So the other thing to the in my project, many people are working on a more than 30 people are working on only one code base. So the problem here is that new developers will come and they will push the code, and because of that some issues will come. So this is still now I was talking about the test, but I am not sure that if someone pushed without a test. So this is a library. I think most of them are aware about it. So this is a code coverage tool, SimpleCow and RCow, and it will give you the information about how much percentage of your code is covered through your tests. So SimpleCow is a library and which supports 1.9 Ruby 1.9, and RCow is 1.8. RCow supports Ruby 1.8 and less than that. And this is also important to maintain because for big projects the continuous integration is a must. How many guys are using the continuous integration server? Okay. And we use a cruise, and this is helps us to productivity, means we can trust on this thing. If the build is red, we can understood that thing something is wrong with our latest pushes. This library will help in that thing. So I am going to talk about the other two things, code quality, how we are doing the how we are maintaining the code quality. Basically the two things, pair programming and code review. I am going to show the environment how we are doing the pair programming, and this is the environment which we are following. That is the iMac mission, and the other one is a monitor which is connected to the same mission, and these two developers will have different keyboards and different mouses, and previously we used to do with only one keyboard and one mouse, but this environment is working fine compared to the only one keyboard and one monitor. So we need to navigate. If we have only one keyboard, means the pair may not be interested to work. So this environment may help to do the pair programming more effectively. And the pair programming advantages, the code will be more clean. If you do the coding independently and if you do the pair programming, the code will be clean and bugs will be found out in the initial stage itself. And more than one person, means if you do the pair programming and more than one person will know about the code, and sharing the knowledge is also easy, and it's also helps to understand others code, how the other people are doing the pair coding. So this is a environment which is helping to maintain the code quality between the developers. So if someone is really doing a good programming, and if we pair with that guy, we can learn something from that guy. So I'm sure that always pair programming cannot be possible in the, but sometimes we can do the pair programming and you can try it out. And pair programming advantage, the pair programming advantage is sometimes the developers is not interested to do the pair programming, and sometimes they are not interested with your pair or something. So in that case the pair programming won't work, and communication between the pairs is a must. If there is no communication between the pairs, the pair programming won't work. This solution is, so solution, the its solution means switch the pairs frequently. So this may helps do the, means it may help to improve the code quality using pair programming. And I'm going to talk here about a code review, and code review will also help to maintain the code quality between the developers. This will, means code review means we cannot do the code review always, but we can do sometimes, either means sometimes it may help us. So it's a main thing is that if we do the code programming, if new developer is coming to the your project, so in that case code review helps to spread your information, project information to the team members. It allows, means it means new developers may give the more ideas about your code and how is the new, means it may help to get a new ideas. And we can find out some code smells when we are doing the code review, and it cannot be work, means if we have large amount, means many developers are there, in that case it would be time consuming job, but it's work with a small groups. Till now I was talking about the TDD and BDD and pairing and code coverage tool. So now I am going to show one, not one, two tools about getting the statistic code analysis. Statistic code analysis is basically without executing your code, we need to get the statistics of code. So this is a basic rake task which will give you the information about your project. How many guys used about rake task? Rake start, sorry. So this will give you the basic information about how many lines of code is there, and how many lines of controller code is there, how many classes are there, methods are there, how many lines of code is there in a classes, and it will also give you the information about the code to test ratio. In the below you can see that 1:1.7 ratio. I copied this screen from one of my project. So we are maintaining that means 1.7, means for one line it's more than, means it's almost 2 lines of test. So the other tool I am going to talk about, it's actually this is a library which is coming with a metric foo, but I have taken it independently. This code smell using a rig. This is a library. When you run, means this library will give you the information about where is the code smells in your application. It will find out the duplicate methods in your code, and long method, and large class, and simulated polymorphism. Simulated polymorphism is a kind of, if you use the if statements, more if statements in a one line, or if you use them like if you are going to check the class type, what is the type of class. So that type of conditions, this library will give you the information about it. So I was talking about the how we need to do the code quality, and till now that is the about developer satisfaction. So like how the code is there, how we need to write a code, that is the internal quality, that is a developer satisfaction. But the client won't understand this thing. So whether you write the code in controller or whether you write in a model, so the last thing is that the end user satisfaction. So the end user satisfaction is the external quality. Basically how happy your client is there. I'm going to show some tools, how we need to perform the thing. So these are the performance tools I am going to talk here. First one is a bullet, and the second one is a Rails indexes, and the third one is a New Relic and OINC. These are the libraries which I am using to improve my project. So the bullet is a library which will give you the information about where the actual queries, unnecessary queries are firing in your application, where the unnecessary queries are firing in your application, where you need to improve your code in. So the bullet library will give you the information, and it will also give you the growl notification. If you add this gem to your project, it will give you the growl notification or JavaScript pop-up. So I am going to show the small demo on this thing. So here is the index action is I'm trying to get, I have the include within a comments, but in the view I am not accessing the comments related stuff. Means when I am displaying the here in the browser I am not displaying anything related to the comments, only I am displaying a post name and the corresponding links related to its thing. But I am trying to include comments also. In that case this library is giving a information that you are unnecessarily including your other table. So if you are trying to accessing the comments also in this view. And let's we assume that I remove the comments from include. I am trying to access the comments here. So in that case also the bullet gem will give you the alert message that you please add the include in this thing, because you are accessing the comments also. So the other library is Rails indexes. This is a library which will give you the information about the where the Rails indexes means index is needed. Means if you forget to add the Rails indexes in your library, it will give you the information about it. I am going to show some. So this library, which when I run a one rake task, it will give you the this Rails indexes will. This is a old library. I think many of you guys used it. This is a old library, and it will give you a rake task. When I run that rake task, it's telling me that it's given migration with these indexes. We can add this migration to the our migrations folder. So this I am trying to access a name, means I am trying to access the post with a name. So that's why it has given the add the index to add an index to the names. So similar way post and quizzes also, means the idea of post table and quizzes table. So the other library which is OINC, this is a library which will give you information about how much memory is in your action, means how many objects it was created. This library which will give you information about it. And this is a one snippet I copied from my project, and this is a giving a information about the memory usage of the this action. This is a memory usage and how many objects is created in this action. Here is a regional option is there. It created 8 objects, and the region is there, and it is giving this kind of information. And the other libraries which is mostly we are means I am using this library. This is a powerful library which we can believe on this library. This will be helpful in how many guys are using New Relic? Good. So this is a powerful library which will give you the lot of information about the our performance project information, and it will give you the information about which action is slow and which method is slow, and it will give you the information, and it will also give you the which page is slow, page response is slow, and database queries also it will give you, means which database query is taking more time, and it will give you the information about what are the reasons regarding this thing. I have noted down some of the optimization, how we need to optimize the thing, I mean Rails project. So I think most of you guys are aware about it. So find with select. Basically, I observed in my project, most of the queries, always I am trying to fetch everything. Means whether irrespective of what columns I am using, I am always fetching that thing. So try to avoid that thing, and eager loading. The bullet gem will help in the finding the eager loading, where we need the eager loading or where we need not add the eager loading. The other library, it's not an library which will help in optimization thing. So this is a library which will help in a development. means development, when you send means when you request, means when you do the more request, they always all the files will load, but this library will help you in that thing. It will improve the development speed. If you use this library, it won't reload all the files. When you change the files only, it will load. This library will help. And use the active record to XML instead of XML builders. And the other one is validations. So validations, most of the validations always we use, but sometimes when we are updating some records, we don't need to fire, because when you are firing a validations, it may take some time. So if you are sure that you don't need to fire, so we no need to fire those validations. So memcache will means instead of storing in a file the sessions, memcache will help into the performance improvement. The other thing is a query analyzer, which will also give you the information about the what queries are taking time. The other three things are iterators. Actually, when you are using a nested iterators, it would be we should be more careful about the iterators if you are doing nested iterators. So the explain command also helps in optimizing the application. And error notifier. Error notifier is a kind of exception notifier. Whenever something is wrong with your code, this library will help. Means many libraries will support this thing. So the other thing is asset pipelining. Load the JS at the end of thing. And the other one is valid HTML and XML. Thanks.